And today I'm going to detail a common problem often experienced by those who regularly take beta blocker drugs for hypertension or high blood pressure. A problem that is so disruptive it can keep you up at night. And that is that beta blockers are known to sharply reduce melatonin production, leading to, obviously, increased difficulty with both getting to sleep and staying asleep, thus triggering the body's stress response and elevated levels of stress hormones like cortisol, which invariably contribute to hypertension. While hypertension is often the most common reason people take beta blockers, these drugs are used for other cardiovascular conditions like angina and heart failure, and even for non-cardiovascular conditions like anxiety and migraines. Before I detail how beta blockers diminish melatonin production and thus fuel insomnia, let's first take a look at specifically how and why beta blockers are used for hypertension. Beta blockers, true to their name, block the beta-adrenergic receptors that respond to hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline, and are thus a key component of the body's sympathetic nervous system and overall stress response. Blocking beta-adrenergic receptors reduces hypertension primarily by decreasing heart rate and the force of heart muscle contraction, which then lowers the blood pressure, because these receptors, when stimulated, normally increase heart rate and contractility. So by blocking these receptors, beta blockers thus reduce the heart's workload and oxygen demand, leading to a decrease in blood pressure. Melatonin normally contributes to blood pressure support through its interaction with nitric oxide and the endogenous hormonal regulator known as the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, where melatonin specifically inhibits the release of the kidney enzyme renin, which would otherwise promote the activity of the hormone angiotensin II, which is a potent vasoconstrictor. Now that you understand how melatonin supports blood pressure, let's look at how the blockage of beta-adrenergic receptors also, unfortunately, suppresses melatonin production in the pineal gland. The pineal gland relies on adrenergic signaling, mediated by the hormones adrenaline and noradrenaline, to function properly. Beta blockers specifically prevent noradrenaline and adrenaline from binding and triggering their effects, thus inhibiting a part of the hypothalamus known specifically as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is a type of internal master clock that ordinarily ensures physiological synchronicity with the light-dark cycle and stimulates nighttime melatonin production. Because sustained exposure to darkness ordinarily initiates the release of noradrenaline from the nerves on the pineal gland cells, which then produce and secrete melatonin, primarily through the actions of the metabolic enzyme aryl alkylamine N-acetyltransferase, which converts serotonin into the direct melatonin precursor N-acetylserotonin. Can you see how regular, consistent, long-term use of beta blockers impairs this very precise process? You could definitely address this beta blocker-driven melatonin suppression with supplemental melatonin, but it doesn't work for everyone. So if you're someone for whom melatonin doesn't really provide much benefit, then you might also want to try taking some supplemental L-tryptophan throughout the day on an empty stomach, along with, when you do eat a meal, a B vitamin complex, some vitamin D, and magnesium. Because tryptophan is a commonly available serotonin precursor, and the B vitamins, most especially vitamin B6, enhance the conversion of tryptophan into, eventually, melatonin, while vitamin D and magnesium both contribute to improved melatonin production. It's important to remember that a beta blocker-driven reduction in melatonin is just one common way that melatonin synthesis can be reduced, along with alcohol consumption, excessive nighttime exposure to blue light, and the general degradation of hormonal activity as we age. Similarly, melatonin, with its numerous benefits, is just one possible option among many for addressing hypertension. So I hope this gives you some practical ideas. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Carter, and I'll see you next time on ENZYMENTAL. Stay healthy.